It's pretty crazy. I don't know, like when you think about like mental illness, you can really get caught up in thinking that everybody has it. Like everybody has a type of mental illness. No, dude, it's not. It's not true. Like the ones that people talk about are mild cases, but nobody talks about the more extreme cases. Like it's just a person that says that, oh, I have ADD or something like that, right? And they just talk about how they're like, when I get my food, I just don't like it when it touches and stuff like that. That's like mild. That's literally so mild. Like, it's not anything serious. And these people talk about it like it's the biggest thing in the world. But I guess they're just trying to get people that have the extreme cases to talk, because it's really hard to talk. Usually, with mental illness, it does, in extreme cases, it does things like it makes you steal, it makes you do really bad things that you wouldn't think that was possible. So basically, if you get a mental illness and you talk about what happens, that person is like extremely is afraid because when they talk about it, they're facing like jail. And is that fair to anybody? Like, think about it. Like, when you watch all those movies, do you ever see anybody trying to put themselves in jail? Like, everybody is always trying to get out of jail. Like, nobody wants to deal with jail. That's why jail is a broken system. You know, jail is like a broken system. It doesn't work. Like, it doesn't work for anyone. Because you're telling this person that has this problem in the world where they aren't welcomed. They're not welcome in the world because they do bad shit. And that bad shit can be anything from, like I said, stealing to murder, tax evasion. So basically, mental illness can be seen almost anywhere and everywhere. Like if you start to notice something, like when murderers get put on trial, they try to figure out one of two things. Are they sane or do they have a mental illness? Oh, sorry, I had to sneeze. Are they sane or do they have a mental illness? So if they're sane, if they think that they're a sane person, like there's nothing wrong with them, nothing wrong with them, then they put them in jail, sane, put in jail, for the maximum amount of hour of time. Mental illness gets put in jail for a minimal amount of time. They usually don't get like life sentences. They get shorter sentences. And that means that the doctor has said that there's something wrong with this person and they need help. It's they don't deserve jail because it's not their fault. So when they say that a person is sane, they're saying that they were of sound mind. Um, they did everything in sound mind, meaning that they're not insane, that they can function in society normally. They can function in society normally, but they decided to commit these crimes. They decided to steal, they decided to murder, they decided to do tax evasion, and there was nothing wrong with them. They just did it out of because they can. They did it because they could do it. Now, that's my argument. I'm sitting there saying, like, does that make any sense that they're able, sane means able to function in society normally? If they were able to function in society normally, why do you think why why do they commit crimes? So that's the question. Like, that's what we should be like. I'm. That's what we should be talking about. Like, I was just thinking to myself a little bit before, like, why don't we ever have like anybody that talks about something that's out of the normal, that's out of the norms of society? Because everybody just does basically random stuff. Like when you go online and you go on YouTube and you go on TikTok, you're looking for a person that simply entertains you. Like they're entertainers. And we like that stuff. We give those people the credit. And we wait like later on to see if they talk about something serious. Like if they want to bring up something serious, we'll all listen to them. That's because they did everything perfectly. They didn't get in trouble. Like if they had a mental illness, there's this one influencer that I follow. I forgot her name. It's like Cat something. She says she has a mental illness, but she uh, puts out video after video. Like she's doing a good job about it. Like she's taking her medication and she's not falling behind on what she needs to do, and everything is just working out for her. Like nothing is going bad. And that's great and all. So what happens to the people that actually fail? Like what happens to those people? Because all we hear about is the people that don't fail. And the people that do fail, we force them to do things. We force them to go into rehabilitation or go and talk to um, go through therapy. Like we kind of just push them off to the side. We don't really let these people talk. Like, do we listen to people that actually struggle with it? No, because those people are put away. Like Those are the people that get so put down in society. So the people that really struggle, the people that really struggle with mental illness are are in jails or facilities. We don't really get them to talk. You know what I mean? Because they're done talking. They're like, what's the point of talking when you're going to treat me like shit? Like, it's unfair and nobody even listens. So why should I even say anything? You know what I mean? And it's a very good point. But we need these people to talk because we're not getting the full picture of it. You know what I mean? So like what's what's the point of talking? I I really don't know sometimes. Like sometimes I'm just like it's not even worth it. Uh like if you talk too much, you might go to jail for what you've done. Like these people are crazy. Like they want us. This is what this is what society wants. Society wants for you to take responsibility, do time, and then they'll hear you out. Like, can anybody just like look at this setup? What society wants from people. This is what society wants from people. They want you to take responsibility, do time, go to jail, and then they'll hear you out. They'll listen to what you want to say. You know what I mean? Like you're asking you're asking for so much. You're asking for so much just to do something in return. They're like, you think about the things that happened beforehand. Before jail, there's a lot of things that happen before jail. There's like, um, so you have mental illness, they struggle, and people think that, like, what happens before this person goes to jail, right? Like, what's going on in their head? How come they can't figure out a way to get themselves out of trouble? Because everything is so outlined. The laws are outlined. So that means it should be easy to ask for help. So, like, you want this person to ask for help before anything bad happens. And you're saying, like, bro, if you're of sane mind, you would ask for help. But you're saying that that person must be sane. for you to ask for help. And since they're not sane, they don't ask for help. So they let bad things happen. They're irresponsible. They're irresponsible individuals. Like, they aren't doing what they need to do. Um, these people aren't doing what they need to do, so it's their fault essentially. So that's why I kind of flip it around on people. I'm like, wait, hold on. If it's that person's fault for not being of sane mind, like basically they're saying that at one point in time you were sane. Somewhere along this line, you became insane. And then you got in trouble. And once you get in trouble, there's no turning back. Like, nobody wants, because you went through this timeline. You were sane at first, and then you became insane, and then you got in trouble. So they're saying around here, you were supposed to say something. Like, you should have called it out. You should have been like, bro, this is not going right. Something is wrong. I need help. And if you had done that, then this whole timeline wouldn't have happened. You could have you could have avoided you could have avoided problems. But because you went insane, you must take responsibility. Like that's what they're saying. I'm trying to see like what your my camera sees. Oops. So that's how we essentially put people in jail, because we're saying that at one point in time you were sane for 12 years of your life. You went to school, like you knew you know the difference between right and wrong, right? So you were sane. You went to school, uh you studied, you took tests, you went to recess, you went from class to class. You had like, how many classes do you have in school? Like 8 classes, 8 different subjects. You have gym, you have art, you have math, you have history, you have all these different things going on in your life, and you're able to juggle them. You're doing a great job. So that must mean that you were sane. You didn't shoot up a school or anything. You know what I mean? For 12 years, you didn't shoot up a school. You didn't do anything bad. We can work with you. You know? Um, so because you've done all those things later on in life, if you start doing anything bad, so what happens, like, the biggest thing that I can like point out that we might uh You might be asking, so like name something that an adult does that they don't do for 12 years straight, because mental illness is pretty tricky. Mental illness can happen at any point in time in life. Um, Murder can kind of happen when you're an adult, but it sometimes happens to kids. So let's look at tax evasion. Tax evasion is one of those big things that large that people that have gained a lot of money and they've been successful in their life, and then they get hit with tax evasion, and tax evasion really kind of like it makes them look really bad. You know what I mean? Like, so tax evasion is something that you get when you have money. So no, you don't see a 12-year-old going to jail for tax evasion. Like, that's not something that you see. You see a grown adult that's about like 30 years old, maybe even 25. That's like pretty early. Um, they go, they get in trouble for tax evasion, and then they go to jail for it. That's something that you can think of that helps you think about this whole bar right here. Like, first you were sane, and then you went insane, and then you got in trouble for it. We have Donald Trump is in a big mess right now, and he is getting in trouble for like doing bad things in the office, doing things that no other president has done, and he's being tried, and he is being tried as a sane person. So the question is, do you think Donald Trump is sane? Do you think Donald Trump kind of went like insane due to the stress? Um, or do you think that he was sane because he's doing something that not many other people can do? He he has climbed this ladder that not many people can climb. He's intelligent. Um, so does he deserve to go to jail for what he's done? And I'm saying that this line that they make us walk, this tightrope that they make us walk, doesn't really make sense. Like, you're saying that people deserve to go to jail because at one point in time they were sane, and then they became insane because they didn't ask for help. Because they didn't ask for help while they were going insane, because they know the difference between sane and insane, they must take responsibility for getting in trouble. So that's when I kind of like turned it around, because many people, when you ask people like what do they think of jail, they think that it's a good system. They think that it's a fair system, that people go to jail um, because they do horrible things and they deserve it because they were once sane and then they went insane and they didn't know the difference. So that means that they're a criminal. Like when you think about it like that, does that even make any sense? Like, how can you become insane and you're supposed to know and you're supposed to ask for help? So basically, when you get in trouble, sane, insane, and in trouble. When you're sane, you go insane, and then you get in trouble. So basically, you can think about it like this: they are asking for help. You know what I mean? Like, they got in trouble at one point. That's them asking for help. But nobody wants to ask for help because the end result the end result is jail. Nobody really wants to ask for help during this point because when they reach this point, it's already too late. Like, it's too late, bro. It's off the table. Like, bro, you're gonna get in big trouble for not being able to handle life the way that everybody else does. You know what I mean? Like, how is anybody supposed to take responsibility when the end result is so terrible? So that means that the jail system is broken. There's something wrong with it. Like, it doesn't help anybody out because people don't want to get in trouble. You know, they go into life completely sane. They go into life completely sane, knowing that they don't want to get in trouble, and then they end up in trouble. And to get in trouble, it takes years. It doesn't happen like right away. Like, there's no red flags when you're in school for 12 years. You're in school for 12 years, nothing happens. Nothing happens. You get a job, you go to work, and you just start living life. So you live life for 20 years. Nothing happens. You live life for 20 years, nothing happens. And then year 21, on year 21, you go insane, and at the same time, you get in trouble. And then what the jail system does, it erases it erases this whole time of you trying your best not to get in trouble. And mental illness just makes it simple to explain, like, how people get in trouble. It's unknown more than half the time, and it can be fixed. With mental illness, it's an unknown thing. It can be fixed. So basically, the people that go to jail are the people that they haven't been able to fix. Is because they haven't found a solution. Because when you, I'll bring up like a murder trial. A murder trial can go one of two ways. They can either have mental illness, or sane. So I'm bringing up murder trial because that's the best example that everybody can think of. Like when you think of jail, it's like you might get away with tax evasion. You might have did it once, and then you fixed it. They would say that that's the same person. Stealing, you might not get caught. Um, but murder, you're most likely going to get caught for doing it. You know what I mean? You might do it like 10, 15 times. You might be a serial killer and get in trouble. You might be a serial killer and get in trouble. And get in trouble later on. You might be a serial killer and get in trouble later on. But what I'm saying is that you most likely will get caught and you will go to jail. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you get caught, that's where they're taking you. And it branches off into two different things. You can either have a mental illness and then they'll put you into a mental hospital, or if you're sane, you'll go straight to jail. You know, there's there's two options for you. There's only two. After you get caught, there's only two options. And we see this with stars. Like I want you to like really think about how much this affects society. We have the stars. Stars meaning they make millions. Let me take a picture of this so I have like some type of reference. Stars make millions of dollars. They're very talented. They're very talented. They're good at what they do. Um, they become stars for a reason. They become millionaires for a reason. But what I'm saying is that there's not many. There's a lot of them, but there's not many of them. Like you'll hear of The Weeknd on TV. You'll hear of Angelina. You'll hear of Jay-Z, and then you'll start to you hear about the people that get in trouble. You hear about the stars that get in trouble. There's not many of them. You know, out of 20 stars, one goes to rehab, let's say. Like off the top of your head, you would only know about like one or two stars that get into serious trouble. You have Young Thug, Young Thug who went to jail. He's in jail right now. See how like there's not many people that you can name off the top of your head that have gone to jail. They have a list of them. They definitely do. They have Shia LaBeouf. Whoops, Shia LaBeouf. He he gets in trouble a lot. He goes to jail, but he has a mental he has a mental problem. And mental problems are tricky. Mental problems can be taken care of right away, immediately. There can be a solution immediately, or it takes time. Mental illness is really tricky. Mental problems, like I said, there there is always a solution for mental problems. It's the medication. But you have to understand that the medication does not completely work. It doesn't work. It's a very excruciating experience. If you watch movies um, about mental illness, you'll see that the process, they make it extremely excruciating. And they used to torture patients. And mental health institutions back in the day used to be very, very bad. They were terribly they were terribly made. They treated their patients badly. They didn't want to really take care of them. The medication wasn't helping, and because the medication wasn't helping, people are losing faith. But those are the extreme cases. I have a mental illness that's manageable with medication, but for me, the solution was immediate, but it took time because the patient themselves has to come to a realization that they do need help. And uh, with my situation, the medication that they gave me was too strong, and I was unable to cope with it. Like it made every single day a struggle. And then I didn't figure out a solution until I got into trouble. Like for me, there was a solution. The solution was a problem because the medication was just way too strong for me. Like I couldn't take it. Like bro, every day was a struggle. Like I was a struggle to get up. It was a struggle to stay awake. Like I felt like I was high most of the time. Like the doctor got me high off drugs. That's how bad his suggestion was. Like I didn't need that type of strength, and that's what he decided to give me, and it caused a problem. So what I did was I since the solution was a problem, I got off the medication and I refused to take any. And this is the biggest problem with mental illness patients is that they don't want to take the medication because the medication has too many side effects. In other words, it means that they haven't found a real solution yet. There is no real solution for mental illness. There really isn't. Like, yes, the medication keeps you out of mental hospitals because that's what they do with you. They put you into mental hospitals if you have a mental illness. They put you into these mental hospitals and they try to find a working solution for you, something that you can deal with, and it keeps you out of the mental hospital. And when you're out of the mental hospital, it's not like you might not be able to function in society. You might have problems functioning in society. And then that goes in, you might need disability help. Very few receive disability. So it's up to the family. So that's the biggest problem with um, mental health patients. And this right here, this time frame could take years. It can take years. Like they're not getting the correct help. Their family isn't really understanding the problem. They are fighting it. And since they're fighting it, it takes years. So one person that you can see this problem happening with, like I've had this problem. It seems like he has this problem as well, is Shia LaBeouf. Shia LaBeouf got in trouble he got in trouble a lot. He gets in trouble over and over again. When you hear about him, he's just doing something that's not right. And people are complaining about him. They're saying that he's going into the set and he smells funny, like he's not doing too well. And you see him going in jail. He's just having a problem with the solution. Let's just say that he's supposed to be taking mental medication, and it's just not working for him. He has a problem with it. And then the solution takes years, even though the solution was found in the very beginning. The solution was medication. But the solution has problems. It doesn't really help. It harms more than it does good. And when you're off the medication, the reason why people get off the medication is because you feel much better without it. It's just that you don't act right. That's the biggest problem with the medication.